Sure. We are thrilled to be moving on. I think this team has done a great job to put ourselves in this position. Excited to be playing Penn State next, and we loved being home in the first round. And now we got to make sure we are ready to go on the road. Some nice cold weather. This week's been preparing us well, and just excited to still be playing. And a great group of women that are determined, and we'll do everything we can to keep it going this weekend.
Shelley, obviously this isn't your first tournament trip and not a first postseason trip. So just what's the mood and the work-like ethic going into this match?
Oh, excellent. I think we do have a very young team, but this team is also pretty experienced. The fact that we went to the Final Four last year, they know how thrilling the NCAA tournament is. They've come off a great season, disappointed in not being able to maybe continue to be an SEC championship this year. So they have a lot to continue to play for and prove. And very excited to keep playing. And it's an honor to be one of the few teams left in the country at this point. And that's the way we're looking at it and going to take the advantage of our opportunity.
Shelley, following up on that, how was this team different than the Final Four team from last year?
Last year we were pretty young and we relied on young players. This year we're even younger. And obviously a lot of the talk going in this year was missing Savannah McCaskill, who was a huge part of our team last year. When you have a special player like that, they're obviously going to make a difference and an impact. And I think going into this year, it was a little more where we're looking for goal production from different people to step up that may not have had that kind of responsibility before. And so they've grown into those roles. I think, we also had a team start the season that really only actually three returning players from that Final Four team were starting as starters and as the starting group from that group. So it was a whole new team, a whole new year. And so we didn't really talk about last year necessarily. It was a brand new season, but I think they've used those experiences to help the freshmen that have come in to give us a lift as well.
This is for either one of you. I was going to ask you all what opponent Penn State might remind you of, but as I was looking at the statistics on paper, they kind of reminded me of y'all. What's your take on that?
You want to answer that?
You got it.
I think they're an excellent team. I agree. I think they're good in possession. They're organized. They have a little bit of different formation than we do, at least what we've seen up into this point. But they do. I think they are structured. They're hard to break down. I think they're pretty dynamic in the offensive third. They have some personalities, maybe a bit stronger than we have at this moment, but they've just had some youth national team experience and things that we don't have as much experience with. But we've played those kind of teams year in and year out in this NCAA tournament and being able to win games, and so we know we're going to face a great team in Penn State. We do like teams that play good soccer, and they're definitely a program that does that.
Grace, with the opponent being
I think when the draw came out, obviously I was just looking at UNCG first of all and getting past that first hurdle, and so obviously we managed that. And then, yeah, I mean, there will be some extra emotions. Obviously I have some really good friends on that team, and it'll be obviously nice to see them, but at the end of the day, it's another game and another one we want to win, and I've just got to focus on the game.
any texting or any smack talk going back and forth with ex-teammates?
No. When the draw came out, I was texting a couple of them, sort of like, oh, could it be? But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them, but we're both there to win ultimately, so.
Grace, how did the Final Four run last year prepare you and I guess the other returning players for this tournament this year?
Yeah, I mean, looking back on our Final Four run, we didn't sort of smash or demolish teams, like it was, all close games. And I think that showed, we found a way each game. It was kind of only 1 or 2 goal differences. And so I think that shows for this year that, they're going to be tight games. Each team we play is going to be a tough opponent, but we've got to make sure we find a way. And obviously playing Stanford in the Final Four, an incredible team. And I think although we lost, it was still an enjoyable game to play, if that makes sense, because they were such high quality and they played some really, really nice soccer. So I think for us returning, an important thing we learn is just finding a way in each game. It doesn't have to be pretty necessarily, but at the end of the day, our season rests on it. So just making sure we give everything on the field and giving it our best shot.
Grace, also, can you just talk about the defense, the way you guys have played over pretty much like the last month? Is there even more attention to detail now that you guys are NCAAs?
Yeah, definitely. We pride ourselves as a team on defense, front to back, and I think all of us across the back four and those who sub in, we know our jobs well. We know what we're expected of and what we have to do to make sure we keep a clean sheet if we can. And obviously it helps having Michaela behind us, so if anything does slip through, we can always rely on her if we need to. But yeah, I think at this point we just sharpening up and making sure we don't lose focus on anything we do, because we've done so well up to this season, and it would just be a shame to lose focus in any game.
Coach, you talked about it after the game, being able to put more balls on net, especially early on. Does that change any? Do you feel like you have to do that more, especially when you're playing on the road? I know it's a neutral site game, though.
I think that's just a goal of ours in general. I mean, our expectation is to be better in that final third. I think we've done a good job all season to put ourselves in positions to win games, to put ourselves in positions to score goals. We've hit the post several times in games where it didn't quite go our way, and that's unfortunately the game of soccer. You can outshoot an opponent, and you may not win on the day. So we've just got to be better with the chances we're going to create. And we've worked at it at practice. The players have kept their heads up, really trying to work on the finishing piece, something that we're just trying to fine-tune as we enter NCAAs. And like Grace said, I think a big focus as well is making sure defensively we're sharp, because teams will pounce on any mistakes. At this level, you're playing top teams as you move on, and you can't. The teams that make the least mistakes are the ones that are going to come out with the wins.
Shelley, how rewarding was it to see Alexa get on the goal sheet after a pretty big goalless drought there? And where do you see, her role going forward with Simone up there up top?
Yeah, I was very pleased to see Alexa find the back of the net. I think that's frustrating for attackers that have chances and they don't finish, and she's capable for sure. So hoping that gives her a bit more confidence as we move forward here. And I do know Simone is playing some of the best soccer she's played here at South Carolina. You can tell she's a senior who doesn't want it to end, and credit to her. So she's earned a starting role here in the last 2 weeks, and because of that work rate that she's brought, the presence, and she's done things we've tried to get her to do, and she's executing. So she's always had a work rate. Some of the execution has not always come off, and she's done a great job to really focus and bring us someone in the attack that can be very dangerous.
Y'all had a stretch earlier this season where you won 9 out of 11 games and only gave up 3 goals during that period. Penn State's on a stretch right now where they've won 10 of their last 11 games and only given up 3 goals during that period. What role does momentum play at this point in the season?
Is that for me or Grace? Either. You want me to
I mean, yeah, when you're on a roll, it's sort of easier to try and keep it going and keep the momentum. But at the same time, for Penn State, we would feel if we got one, then maybe they wouldn't be used to maybe, conceding more. So for us, it's kind of, they might be on a roll, but how are they going to deal with it if they do concede? So we've just got to play our game and go at them. And similarly, as we just mentioned, defensively, we pride ourselves on, keeping a low score or a clean sheet. So in a game, as a defense, we're trying everything we can to give the attackers everything they can to score. So we do our job, they do their job, and we'll just keep trying to do our best, and we'll hopefully get the success that we're looking for.
Thank you.